You're rooting for the Dodgers?
Welcome to another episode of Tilton the Scales. I'm your host, Nathan Logan. I'm with my two co-hosts, Chester Fred Bowen III and Walter Hall. This is the 40th, the dirty 40? No, not dirty 40. I don't know what the term is for 40 these days. I stopped counting once I hit 30, but another episode. Happy to be here. Hope you guys are too. We're gonna make it kind of short and sweet because it is a school night.
Mhm.
For some of y'all's kids. I don't know how that what that means exactly, other than the regiment that you live daily. You still got to get up. But anyway, so how was your week, Walter?
Week's been good. Week's been good. Halloween prep is upon us. We've been working hard all weekend, ready for tomorrow. Kids are just hyped up to no end. Busy week at work. Sports have come to an end, so our evenings have started to be more free. Spent some time planning the cruise yesterday. That was nice. Talking about excursions with the whole crew that's going. So it's been a good week, all told. But I'm ready for the weekend. I'll tell you that much.
Nice, good to hear. Chet, how's your week been?
Work-wise, good. Cameron last Sunday had his first real like punch in the gut moment sports-wise. He's used to going in like I don't want to play baseball, and then he's pitching in the playoffs and stuff like that. So he got benched as the quarterback because they were getting just reamed by another team. And it wasn't anything he did as quarterback, but on defense, he they was like didn't do the greatest move on one thing, and the coaches were benching some people, so he has to really face that. And so we had a film session tonight that we went to. We'll see how it goes on Sunday, but I think it's good though. I was teaching him that that's resilience. You got to figure out a way to bounce back. So Papa Bear though felt for him. I really felt for him, but he'll bounce back.
Yeah, yeah. One of, I mean, I'm sure you can, explain it to him in many different ways, but
Yep, yep, yep.
failure is going to happen throughout your life. This is not the first time or the last time, like how do
It's the
you
truth.
respond?
Yep.
Don't let it defeat you, all that stuff. Like let it make you better. It's up to you to
Learning
do that,
moment.
but
Right, right. I taught him it's a learning moment as opposed to a defining moment, and that's the difference.
yeah, remember how this feels and then from here on out, like the reason why you feel this way, maybe he could be feeling guilty, like he felt like he could have done more. Like,
Mhm.
well, okay, then now don't let that happen. Don't be back in this same spot where we're having this same feeling with regret. I should have done this. I should have. No, go out there and do it, man. And then that
Yeah,
way, when you do get pulled, just your head's high. Like I did all that I could. No
yeah.
questions
Nate,
asked.
Nate, you're a Barstool guy, right? Have you been
Uh,
following the Barstool Invitational at all? They've been releasing
no.
it over the last week. At any rate, it's a group of golf influencers, but it's also with Barstool guys mixed in.
Well,
So it's
yep.
Bob loves sports and Barstool partnered up. So one of the guys from Barstool that's on is Coach Gruden. And the reason I bring it up is because like one of the top players slept through his tee time, and they're playing for $1 million. Like it's a legit tournament that a lot of players they had it broken up into two teams, and he fucked up for his team really bad, and
Yeah.
everyone was shitting on him. So they called John Gruden over to get a pep talk, and I'm telling you what, I would run through a brick wall for that man. Like I heard you speaking, and I had a little bit of flashback to Coach Gruden. I don't know why that guy's not currently a head coach of some football program somewhere because I love him so much. And I'll send you the clip so you can hear it.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Yeah.
Guy would run through a fucking wall for that man. Love that
I
guy,
want to
and
hear that. I want to see that clip.
I love the way he's reinvented himself as well. I'll send her right now.
Love it.
I'm happy I gave you goosebumps and you're saying that I resembled John Gruden. Like that's pretty
No,
cool.
I said you reminded
I'm
me of
I'm
that, and
getting
it gave me
goosebumps now.
goosebumps.
I'm getting goosebumps now.
So Nate, how was your week?
My week was good, man. My week was good. Started coaching at the gym. Officially, unofficially, a coach at Boom Fit. Boom Fit.
I like
So,
it. I like it. Hashtag BoomFit. Can we do that yet?
uh, potentially, yeah.
All right.
It's already created, but
Good.
yeah, we can still use it. So yeah, it was good. And then Halloween tomorrow, of course, get to see the grandkids. It was so cool because I went and gave the grandkids breakfast, where I stopped by and I had to pick up something. Uh, anyway, I saw the kids as they were eating breakfast, and my granddaughter was in her Halloween costume. She's going to be Cinderella, and I was just thinking, like, I told her she looked beautiful. You're an amazing Cinderella, etc. I was hyping her all up and like,
Oh
because she
yeah.
looked amazing and she looked super happy. And I think even in saying that, as I was videotaping and taking pictures, like I I've seen it before, but I saw like the words that I was saying made her feel loved, and she was just super happy to hear that. And I'm sure she probably heard that, from everybody in the house and probably had the same reaction, but it's just cool to see, little
Yeah.
kids and, their facial expressions changing, with emotions and all that. So it was pretty cool.
Affirmation. That's what you did. You provided
Absolutely.
affirmation. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're short on time, or I want to make it short and sweet. You guys can tell me what if you need to tap out, but we shouldn't go more than 90 minutes, maybe. So I didn't add a lot. But so let's start with the Patriots. Patriots played the Browns. Very exciting game. I think we were all excited and hyped up for it. Um, the gist of it is, Drake May essentially was sacked 6 times, thrown out of rhythm, had the stones to stand in the pocket, still have pocket presence, still get in there and get after it, and still had some real good, just sense of the offensive side of the ball against that defense, even though he was facing down obviously probably. I think Miles Garrett, we all think at this point, will probably go down as one of the all-time greats. Like, I'm so upset still when he was getting his contract that we didn't like make a bid for him, because that dude is just a game changer. He can't win it all by himself, but anyway, he had 5 of the 6 sacks that the defense had. Drake May early did look kind of shook, or at least ugly, because he threw an interception that was, I don't know how you don't see that person. Obviously, he didn't see him, but he threw it right to him.
Yeah.
Uh, so it didn't look good early, but again, he stood in there, took all the hits, made the right throws, made the right calls, and Josh McDaniels is listening to me, man. I don't know how else to say it. Like, my criticism of him as a coach, I think it's resonated, and he's blossomed into, you know, changing not his philosophy, but making sure he makes adjustments when they're needed, slight as they might be. But so I'm pretty happy. And again, Patriots go to 6-2. Drake Mace, again, he's arguably a top 5 quarterback. Like, I don't know how he isn't in everybody's top 5 at this point, just based off of his statistics purely. Like, is this an anomaly as in this season? He still needs to do it, you know, seasons from now. Hopefully we're having the same conversation, but he looked good. His completion percentage was 75%, which is what he averages on the season. Um, he only threw it 24 times, but still had 282 yards and 3 TDs. Um, the running game looked pretty good. We had 177 yards running. Our defense again held the opposition to under 100 yards, and I believe we're like the only team in. I think we're the only team, or this was the first week that we had a rusher go over 50 yards on us. So
Against us.
yeah, against us, yeah.
Yeah.
The opposition, yeah. I mean, that's pretty good. At week 8, like, I'm happy with that. We still Our holes are still glaring in the secondary, though, even against uh, Cleveland. They new rookie quarterback, receivers not really, I will say, not really going all out for the ball. Uh, if it's a different team or a different mentality, potentially, I don't think the outcome would have changed. The game might have been more competitive, especially towards the end, but we definitely have some holes in the secondary that we need to shore up. What was your reaction from what you saw, Chet?
Well, I'll say this. I'll make it short and sweet. I think that the story of the game was best defense in the NFL going against what everyone said at the time was an overrated quarterback, an overrated offense. And I think that despite what you said, kind of an ugly couple of things, Drake may bounce back. Speaking of resilience, like I think that's an important thing for a quarterback or a team in general. And when is the last time we saw a superstar like Myles Garrett getting so upset that no matter what they did, we came back and they couldn't beat us? I mean, I haven't seen that since back in like 2016, 17, 18, those days. Um, and so that was interesting to see. I also just add a couple of quick things. Um, Love to get Myles Garrett right now. And I think there's a
Yes.
2% possibility. 2%. I'm just saying 2%.
I'll take that. I'll take the
Yeah, a
2% for
2%
sure. Yeah.
possibility that we go out and do that because those trades, Duggar's gone, White is gone. I think that they open up salary cap space. Man, they were talking about edge rusher. Like, I doubt that it happens, but man, how cool would that be? I think it would change our whole season. Still think we're on a great trajectory, but my God, bringing him in, right? And I'll end with that.
Yeah. Yeah. If we can collect all the best players in football, that'd be great, right? Yeah. I mean, who's going to argue with that? I can't. I think that I don't think they're getting rid of him. I think they've even come out recently and said there's no chance we'll trade him. Like he is our franchise, as they should. He's an elite player. I am shocked he went. I mean, why did he go back? He made it. He has a huge contract, right? Um, Now I'm going to push back a little bit on the secondary, though, Nate. I feel like it's really coming together. I don't know if you saw that. The defensive AFC defensive player of the month this month. Did you see who it was?
No, was it Gonzalez?
Marcus Jones.
Oh, Marcus
Marcus
Oh,
Jones.
Jones. Well, we just gave
Yeah,
him an extension. Yeah, we just gave him an
and he
extension.
just won AFC
He's a
defensive player of the month. Carlos Gonzo in the secondary. I feel like we're getting better incrementally. The other area that I feel like you have been unfair this year is, and we've had this debate, is regarding our friend Josh McDaniels. I think that the saying that applies here is you got to walk before you can run. I think that he was installing a new offense with a young quarterback, and the complexity of it had to be very straightforward. I think we've seen the fruit of his labor, and he's earned the respect that he gets from me because I give him as big a piece of the puzzle as anybody in terms of turning this offense around. He's calling the game fantastically, and I think it really came to a head. It's getting better week after week, and we talked about this last week: the need to peak at the right time, and they got to install different aspects of the offense. I'm happy. I'm really, really happy with where the offense is. I'm happy with where the defense is coming. You're right about that defensive line. I mean, fantastic, elite run defense, which is going to hold up really well in the playoffs, right? I think that's where you start to run the rock more, especially if we can get a couple home games playing in New England in the winter. Yes, please. I want a strong running game. I want a quarterback with a good touch, and I want to be able to not allow them to run the rock. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed. What do you guys think of that? Of the Josh McDaniels mic'd
the
up
clip that you
clip I
sent
sent.
us.
Oh,
Pretty
so
I
good,
didn't
good.
pretty
watch
good,
it.
wasn't it?
So fun.
I didn't watch it.
If you don't love him after
Oh,
that, I don't know what to tell you. What a
I love him
great
the
Well,
whole
coach!
time.
that's why I was anxious to watch it. I don't want to, as in nervous. I don't want to watch it, and then I will have to love him, and I won't be
You'll
as
have to love
critical,
him.
and I won't help him. I won't help him achieve perfection.
Yeah, I guess that's the
I
point.
do I do agree with you. I do
Yeah,
agree with you. We do want our offense to be a slow rising trajectory to a distant horizon, right? Like I
yeah.
understand that. Uh, but again, I do think still the adjustments aren't enough. And to your point, Wally, who are we playing? Like we can only play who's on our schedule, but we're still playing. Although the defense was good, their offense couldn't find, a fish in a barrel. You know what I mean? Like they were struggling. And that's what I mean by, yeah, I think our secondary is getting better and I give them props. Yeah, they had a defensive player of the month, but again, it's a rookie quarterback. And I do believe that I won't say that the players aren't playing for their paycheck, but they're definitely, it didn't look like those receivers, other than the rookie tight end that scored the first touchdown and possibly David, the other tight end. They're the only ones that look like they want to go out there and like they're putting their body in harm's way. Be damned if I get hit, I'm going to catch this ball. Those are the only two on that offense that look like that. And Quinn Judson did look like that early on. We stopped the run, and I feel like they have little to no leadership on the offensive side, which also, makes
Yeah.
them very poor. But again, a different team, different scenario. The what ifs, we could do that all day. But, I
Are we going to
just
see Shador? You think we're going to see Shador the next week? I know they were going to Dubai, but coming out of the bye, I mean, maybe now's the time.
I don't think they're going to
Gabriel
fire
didn't
the
do anything
coach.
to impress me.
No, he didn't. I don't think they're going to fire the coach, but I really don't think Stefanski wants to play him. Like
I don't think so
it's
either.
gotten to that point. Like I don't, unless Gabriel's hurt, that's the only way that Sanders is coming in. And I mean, I don't see him on an injury report, but they're talking like he's been injured, and that's been,
It's back, right?
he hasn't been practicing, so he's been in recovery, like or
He disagrees.
getting medical attention.
He openly disagrees with that. He said, "I'm ready."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we might see
I
him.
agree. So
Yeah.
I hope, yeah, I don't want Dylan Gabriel to get hurt, but if he does get hit and get concussed, I mean, that might be the best thing for the Browns at this point. At least, they get a chance to have two rookie quarterbacks that are serviceable. And if you want to move one next draft, potentially, you know, who knows? But I'd love to see him sometime this year. I wanted to go to Vegas. Remember talking about a Vegas trip? I wanted to go to Vegas and put money on the odds that Shador Sanders would play a snap.
Well, this is on record. I am going on a vacation in February that I cannot afford, which when our roof fails and our furnace fails and our water system fails and our hot water system fails, I won't be able to afford it because we're going on this vacation. But the good news is, once that vacation is over, I then am allowed, without too much grief, to go and do a Vegas thing. So maybe next year.
Maybe,
Just saying.
maybe.
And let's delete that from the, record. But
We'll see. Am I supposed to delete that? I don't think I want to.
It's getting clipped. I think you might hit share instead of delete, though.
Yeah, that's true. I
Those two
frequently
buttons look a lot
I
alike.
confuse. Yeah, I confuse those.
you confused the two.
Those.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
All
Also,
right, so
before we
ahead.
move on from that, do you think we are good enough now? Because you were so right a couple of weeks ago when you walked in, it's like, hey, is this a trap game? And you were like, we cannot claim to be good enough to call it a trap game. When it comes to Atlanta, are we good enough now, in your opinion, to call this a possible trap game with Penix coming back and all that?
I mean,
No,
I like it.
I don't
I
think
like this Atlanta team. I like the Atlanta offense. I think that they are. What are they? They're almost 500. With 3-4, 4-3, something like
Yeah,
that.
they beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this Atlanta offense is legitimate, and I don't think for that reason it's not a trap game. I think we're favored as we should be, right? But I think this. I could see this Atlanta team playing well. I think they're better than some of the teams we've been playing lately.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we should be overlooking anybody, and I I think that's part of the reason why Josh McDaniels is the coach that he is. He's been through the rigor. He understands. It's a rookie quarterback as well. He'll have everybody prepared on the offense. I think
Yeah.
Vrabel will have everyone on the team prepared, and not no one's looking past the next team that's on the schedule.
You
Like
can't. Not
short of
Minnesota.
him saying it's on to Cincinnati. Like he has that same mentality, which I appreciate. So I think everybody will be dialed in. It's an away game. It's also an away game in a dome. Hopefully our offense shines because weather's not going to be a factor. Uh, I'd love to see. I hope we do some no huddle and a little bit of, again, deception at the line of scrimmage. Move everybody a little bit faster, a lot more motion to confuse the defense, because the Falcons defense is fast, and they did draft two ends that are pretty good along with who they already had. So you know, we shouldn't be overlooking this team at all. And I'd love to see them go in there and just beat the brakes off of them, to be honest. I think our defense can do it uh, against their offense, and then I really think that we can go in there offensively and like again we've been very good at finishing halves just like we have traditionally in the past. Very good at finishing halves with a score, not giving the other team another opportunity to score before the half, and then turning that into like essentially like 14 or 10 unanswered points because we get the ball back in the second half. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to watch the game, to be honest. I'm tired of these 12 o'clock starts, I'll be honest with you. I'd love to have like a 3 o'clock start, or I feel like at some
You're
Maybe
point,
next
telling
year,
me.
if they make the
maybe the
playoffs,
Buccaneers, maybe, well, no, maybe the Buccaneers could be like it's another
Flex.
NFC team, so that could be like yeah, flexed or the
you know
game of the
what?
week, so to
The
speak.
It should be.
Buccaneers,
It should be.
it's already been announced that Tony Romo and I think it's Jim Nance are going to do that
Yep. The A team.
Bucks and Patriots. Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
I'd love to see them move it then. It'll probably, if they're on it, I'd imagine should be flexed to 4 or 3, but
Depends on what those
Oh,
could
games are,
stay
but
at
so
I
12.
agree. Good chance it
Could
gets
stay at
flipped.
12.
I'd love to watch another game live, not taped on rain on delay without being able to look at my phone the entire time. I
Oh,
think if
yeah.
we can shut down Bijan, I mean, this Atlanta offense is centered heavily around their running game, right? So if you shut
Yeah.
down Bijan, they're going to have a hard time scoring. And I think we have a defense that can shut down Bijan. So I agree with you. I do think that the most likely scenario is that we stomp them.
Yeah, our linebackers have really gotten better at
Yeah.
covering whoever's coming out of the backfield. So I feel like they've helped the secondary, of course, but yeah, I again rushing the ball. I think we're going to hold them to our average. 75 yards is our average for the team, but I think if we can hold him to 75, that's still going to produce a win for us. As I think
Yep.
coming out of the backfield, our defense will be good enough. If that's the one guy, I know they have more weapons than that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. So
Yeah, me too. Me too.
predictions. I think it'll be right now. It's the Patriots by 4.5, uh, and the over under is 44.5. So I feel like it's probably going to be. I think I can't remember what we said last week. I would have liked. I've been better
Yeah, I
at
was wondering that
remembering.
too.
I've been better at remembering and then pointing it out. But uh, I like the Patriots, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 28-10. I think that's very close to what this week was. It was 32-13, right? The final score. But yeah,
Yeah.
28-10 Patriots is what I got.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good actually. I think I was going to go right in that same neighborhood. I'll say we're going to go up to 31. We'll go 31-13.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
going to say 38-28.
Okay. I like that. A bit of a
I don't want
shootout.
I don't want that. I don't want
You
Atlanta to
still
score
need Kyle
500.
Pitts to get you some points or what?
No, he's gone. I got Mark Andrews tonight, baby. But yeah, no, I think that to Wally's point, I do think they're getting better and better every week. But I think that Michael Penix's back and a charged up Atlanta team ready to come in. I can see it being a little bit harder than we think. I think we still pull it out, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'd love to see us go no huddle just because it's a dome. It's an
Yep,
away game. We
yep.
can't,
No,
the
we're not. No, no,
communication's
are
going
we
to
at
have to be
Gillette?
fast. Huh?
I think we're at Gillette this week.
No.
Am I wrong?
Might be right.
No,
Hold
I
on.
think we might be home. Yeah, I think we might be home as well.
Yeah, we're home.
Let me see. I had it up. Okay. Well, in that case, then yeah, we don't need to do no huddle. Let's just run the ball down their throats. Get Ramondre Stevenson some more touches and some more confidence.
Depending on his
Yeah.
toe, he hasn't practiced, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Oh yeah?
Hmm.
Well, dang.
Who hasn't
Yeah,
practiced?
it's in New
Ramondre.
England. Ramondre.
He's got a toe injury, so we'll see.
All right. Yep. Gillette Stadium supposed to be 52 degrees. Doesn't say anything about weather though. Partly cloudy. That's it. All right. So there's our predictions. We all picked the Patriots. Surprise, surprise, surprise. All right. Is Indy the best team in the AFC or the NFL right now? What do you guys think?
No, not anymore. I would have said that last week.
Well, they didn't lose. They only won again. Why are they coming off? Why are they coming off?
Because the Kansas City Chiefs are scary as hell, and they're gonna beat Buffalo this week, and hopefully, because if the Patriots beat Atlanta, I'm gonna watch Kansas City beat Buffalo. I think Kansas City can beat anybody on any day if they play their best, and Patrick Mahomes is a bad man,
Yeah.
scary man.
I do think, as long as what the heck is his name? The running back. I don't know why I'm missing his
Jacob?
name.
Pacheco, Hunt, which one?
No, Indies.
Oh,
Your running
Jonathan
back,
Taylor.
Wally.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan
Jonathan
fucking Taylor.
He's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
So
He's a
long as he's
beast.
healthy, that team, and I legitimately want, if we're in the mix, of course, I'm gonna root for the Patriots, but I
Yeah.
want Daniel Jones to take that team to as far as he can on and prove everybody wrong, like because he looks really good, man. Like
Yeah.
I maybe it's the coach, maybe it was the getting out of New York. I can't tell you, but he looks totally different. His confidence
Yes, he does.
levels higher. Like
It's
I
so hard
like
to
it.
explain. It's hard to
Yeah.
explain because Dayball was there with Josh Allen and his rise. So how can you look at that and be like, well, he screwed up with Daniel Jones?
So sick of
Um,
it.
but I think it goes back to offensive coordinator. Like that's a more important position than people think when it comes to quarterback development. Josh McDaniels gave Mac Jones a great rookie year. He's gone. Mac Jones regresses. Mac Jones goes back to another good offensive coordinator, or I guess I could say in that case a head coach who's offensive focused, and then he does better. So then Daniel Jones goes over there, and they all talk about the coaching being better. I think it has a lot to do with the focus on teaching a quarterback how to read defenses, use their mind, trust themselves, make the right choices. That's not easy on every snap. So I think there's something to
No.
Yeah. So Shane Steichen is the Indianapolis coach, correct? Who's the coach? He was the former offensive coordinator for Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
When
Yes.
they won the no, they did not win. They lost in the Super Bowl, right? But
Yeah.
he developed Jalen Hurts, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, maybe he's the new quarterback whisperer. Although I'm not really sure why he couldn't do something with Anthony Richardson because that dude he's a extremely talented athlete. But I'm not sure if he's a quarterback. If he can resurrect Daniel Jones and make him look the way that he is, like man.
Yep.
But and again, I'm happy for the guy. I said that he was going to be this year's Sam Darnold. So
I
like,
love it. No, I love it
I
too.
just made a
no, I
trade.
said that
I just
about
made a
Mac
trade.
Jones. You
I just
did?
traded for Daniel Jones in one of my leagues. I traded at Cortland Sutherland for Daniel Jones straight up. Now,
Wow.
yeah,
Who?
I
Oh,
got
go
Daniel
ahead.
Jones. I gave up
Yeah.
Cortland Sutherland. Now, the reason for
Yeah.
that is I'm very, very deep wide receiver. I've also got Lad McConkey. I got a bunch of wide receivers. I still have T Higgins on my bench. I got Khalil Shakur on my bench. My starters are who am I starting? So anyway, I'm deep. And I get Jaden Daniels. I'm just not sold on Jaden Daniels, so I pulled the trigger.
I get
Yeah,
it.
good for you,
I
man.
have Daniel
I
Jones in
think
my bench, and I
yeah,
want to trade him for somebody.
I think that's a pretty good haul, honestly. I was
Cortland
looking,
Sutherland's good.
let me tell
Oh,
you. I
very,
was trying
very.
to I have yeah, he is, but I still think one for one, like Daniel Jones is
Take it.
statistically a top 3 quarterback in fantasy football specifically. Like, so yeah, that's a smart trade for you, Wally.
Yep.
You gave up the least in that, I would say.
And I heard you
Oh, I
say
got I
you
got
were
I got
you were
over
boss
Doomsday
deep.
today. I'm deep wide receiver. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've got my starters are Lad McConkey and Rome or Odunze, who's having a huge year too.
Yeah, you're good.
And then I got
So
T Higgins as well.
in my dynasty league, I have Patrick Mahomes and I also have Daniel Jones and I also have Sam Darnold. I'm trying to trade Daniel Jones. I was offered this but didn't see it. We had gone back and forth. This was the last one that he sent me that expired before I could accept it. But I'm gonna probably repropose it back to him. So he offered Vidal Kamani, the running back for the Chargers,
Yep.
Devontae Adams, and Alec Pierce for Daniel Jones, Kendrick Bourne, Kavonte Turpin, and my first round draft pick next year.
If you take the first round draft pick next year out of that, I think that's
Well, I
considerably.
need help at wide receiver because I had Mike Evans, he's gone for the season. After that, I just got Christian Watson back, but the others are no better than Kavonte Turpin. Like they're a third option on all their teams. So uh, the other one is Jacoby Myers that I have, but he hasn't. He's not playing. He's playing for a contract, but not playing. Like so that. And again, Daniel Jones is like he's kind of a throwaway for me. Like I don't need him. I want to get something for him,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
am willing to give up a draft pick for. Again, I'm taking a chance on
Counter
Vidal. Like
counter
I want
But
him to hit, but
counter with a
a
third
first round
round.
draft pick could be like you could be number 3 pick, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's nobody in that entire trade worth that.
Counter with
right.
a
But
third
think
round.
listen though, the number 3 pick is the best, the third best rookie. It's a dynasty league, so it's not my number
You
three
just
pick
draft
is not.
rookies.
Yeah, my number 3 pick is not going to be Josh Allen.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
It's
I
the
still
Could
third
be.
best. It's potentially the third best, or it could be the best rookie. But even
Yeah.
then, like, you know, right now I'm middle of the pack because I'm weak at wide receiver, like literally.
I get it. So
The only reason.
Coach
And,
Nate, Coach
Patrick
Nate
Mahomes
wants
was
to take
on.
this trade. Coach Nate wants to take this trade. GM Nate does not want to take this trade.
No?
No.
I just thought I'd get your opinion on it. I've
Yeah.
been going back and forth with him. Like I offered him, I wanted Daniel Jones. I gave him Daniel Jones and like I was trying to swap first round picks and he wouldn't do that.
Oh,
Anyway, everybody holds really high value for the players that they have, and I just
Yep. I do. I always do.
it's
That's always my issue.
but again, like I tell everybody else, like that the trade that I'm initiating starts negotiations. Like that is the best scenario for me.
that's first
Of
position.
course I'm gonna ask for that. So like
Yep.
let's
Yeah.
talk. But
It's just
no
first
one ever
position.
wants to no one ever wants to go back and forth. They just want to deny, 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 deny.
Yep.
All right, World Series, Wally, you can flip your cap around. We know so that way we know where your allegiances lie. I am not a Blue Jays fan. I don't want them to win at all because
Why?
they shouldn't have had Vlad. We should have had him. We should have signed him. Uh, and I'm rooting for the Dodgers, man. I like to I want Otani is arguably before not before, when he's done with baseball, hopefully we're still above ground and not below ground, but I think he'll go down and we'll see him go down as the greatest player to ever play. And I want to see him win championship after championship. Just so based solely on the fact that he's the only player in Major League Baseball that allowed his contract to be deferred over 20 years or whatever it is. And I'm happy for that. I'm happy that there's
Yeah.
somebody that's humble enough to do that and talented enough. Yeah, I'm serious. But not this last game, but the game before that, 18 innings, You know, it was a huge marathon. I don't know if you guys stayed up for it. Longest game in
No.
World Series history, I believe, but uh, they are on the brink of elimination. That is the Dodgers, and it would be a great story if Toronto wins for sure. But I'm not rooting for them. I want it to go to 7 games, and then you know, the Dodgers win. Dodgers
Yeah,
win.
yeah. I mean, that's like rooting for the evil empire. Like it's just like I see nothing redeeming. Why anyone outside of LA would root for the Dodgers is beyond me. They just buy all the best players. Like it's not. They just signed the best player in baseball for a billion fucking dollars. They're buying championship after championship. I want you to see them lose. That's like rooting for like corporations. Like it makes me sick to my stomach to hear that, especially when there's guys. I'm a New Hampshire guy. I watched the core of this Blue Jays team come up through the system, playing in Manchester down the road. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Blue Jays hard. I love Vladdy. I got a whole bunch of Vlad bobbleheads upstairs. Big fan of his. Um, yeah, man, I'm pulling for the Blue Jays, and I hope they win it.
Yeah. We all know I'm not the biggest baseball guy, but who was that pitcher last night, a couple nights ago, who started like 3 games in the regular season and then just went out in the World Series and struck everybody out for
Yeah,
Toronto? Who's that guy?
yeah,
Yes, Savage. Trey Yes Savage
I
is his
like
name.
him. I like
Yeah.
him. I like those stories. And so, from an outsider baseball perspective, because of that performance, I want to see Toronto win at this point. And Shohei, I'm not sure how humble it was to put off that much money, 10 years. I don't know. I think maybe his old interpreter made a bet that he would or would not do it, and Otani maybe didn't understand it. I'm not sure what happened there, how that happened, but either way, I really like the Toronto Blue Jays. I want to see them as underdogs come through. But in baseball, to be fair, unless it's the Red Sox, in baseball, I always want the underdog to come through.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you, but again, it would be a good story if the Blue Jays won, but I'm not rooting for them. I'll be happy for them if they win. I mean, it makes for great baseball, but I do want to ask you a question, Wally. What
yeah,
in the off season, what do you want the Red Sox to do?
Ooh.
yeah. I mean, like
And before you answer, I don't mean to
specifically or yeah.
interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt, but before you answer, could we summarize it by saying we want them to spend more money?
Yeah, well, yes, of course, right.
Okay, okay.
I hear what you're saying, but I think there's got to be limits to it, right? Like if one team outspends the rest of the field by $400 million or something insane like that, like how does a team like Pittsburgh ever compete with that? And part of that is jaded by the fact that the Red Sox aren't spending any gosh darn money, and they're taking a lot of money and they're making a lot of money, but they're not spending a lot of money. And I know it's relative, but it's not commensurate with the rates with which they're charging. So I hear what you're saying, and it sounds a bit, and I see what you're saying. You think I'm a hypocrite? Yeah, maybe I am, but I think there's levels to this shit, and I think that
I won't say I don't think you're
I'm not
a
trying to say
hypocrite.
I'm not saying it's like should be illegal. I'm not going to root for a team that does it. And it's not like well, I just how many of their players are homegrown? Like how many of their guys, like the Yankees teams, our current Red Sox team, our Red Sox championships teams, were interfused with homegrown talent. You know what I mean? How many? And I generally don't know this answer, so stick with me. But how many of the Dodgers players are homegrown?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look, but I know
Almost
I
none.
know
Not
that
not their big name guys.
right. But you again, I've said it before. Muncy and Tabasco or Tabasco Hernandez, they were both cut by major league teams, and the Dodgers picked them up. So they're smart and savvy with what they do. I I don't particularly like that they're buying their players, but until Major League Baseball puts in a cap for each team, like they're not breaking any rules and they're doing economically what they can do. And again, what their players will allow based off of Otani allowing his $700 million contract to go over so many years, right? So they're not breaking any rules. I think they're just outsmarting everybody else when it comes to how they're spending. So everyone else can do that under the rules. Whether they have the financial leverage to do that is another. And we know notoriously, Pittsburgh specifically is the farm system for the Yankees, the Dodgers, whoever the highest bidder is, right? Because they don't pay their players, unfortunately. If they did, they'd have a pretty decent squad. But
You said every team could do that, and that's just not true. There's almost no other team that has that sort of resources to be able to spend
that
that
is
much or
what
do that much. So,
that
so
is
no,
what
they
I
can't.
said.
Like Pittsburgh can't do it. Baltimore can't do it. Tampa Bay
I
can't do it.
said I said under the
60 to
rules they
70%.
can. I said under the rules they can. Financially they may not be in a position to do that, and that's on their ownership.
That's
Not
not
only
on their ownership.
well,
They don't have a fan base.
if it's not their ownership's responsibility to either one make money or go to the Major League Baseball commissioner and say we need to impose a cap. Like this is ridiculous. The competitive balance is shifted due to financial capital alone. Like and that should not change the competitive nature of the game because they live in a money market in Los Angeles, Like that's what the owner of a small market team should be doing. And he should be getting all the other smaller markets on board and everybody else because I think it would benefit baseball to have a cap to make it very close to what the NFL structure is, right? Where you have the competitive balance is supposed to be in place due to the cap, due to the free agent market, and then also due to the draft.
I like what the NBA does. I like that you can flex it, that it's not a hard cap. You can give there's a little bit of give and take. I'm okay with teams wanting to spend more in the short run to win a championship. I just think that there ought to be consequences for that down the road. Like it shouldn't just be a free for all where money gets you out of it because there's always going to be more and more and more and more and more money, especially for a team like that's got half the Asian market now. They signed Otani. I mean, they're rolling in dough. like
Well,
the,
hey,
the,
that signing alone and him having Dodger brand on him will capital that, like you said, they've cornered the Asian market for
yes.
the next half century probably. You know, like
I mean, the Asian market is deep, and there's a lot of good talent coming over, and they'll continue to come over, and they'll go where the money is. Will that allow LA to get more talent? Maybe. I mean, I don't think Ichiro being in Seattle brought any more, Asian players to Seattle, or Daisuke being in Boston. I think the players are going to go where the money is.
yeah, I do agree with that, but and again, it can balance out when I agree with you about the NBA. I like the way they have their salary cap structure, but it's still a salary cap or a salary structure. It's not, there's something in place to stop it from rising
Agreed.
or getting out of hand. And there's
Legitimate
nothing,
consequences.
yeah, and there's nothing in baseball. And I'd be fine with, again, you can spend what you want, but that supposedly there is a luxury tax in the MLB as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, when you win a World Series, it doesn't make you're still making money, even if you are
Mhm.
paying something on the salary cap. So, uh, all right, let's move on to the Celtics. Didn't
Yay.
start off too well. 3-game losing streak, but then they just won the last two. Next game is against the 76ers on Halloween, which is going to be a repeat of hopefully not a repeat, but they played them on opening day and got waxed. So things are looking up. 2-game win streak. Wally, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we're so reactionary here in New England that like you lose a couple games, sky's falling. I mean, I'm hand up. I mean, I think I've got a very well established history of that on this show. I think we all do to a certain extent. Is we're prone to emotions, and I think that's the nature of sports. So I'm not going to apologize. I was one of the guys saying the sky was falling after 2 games, and it wasn't fair. This team needs time to gel. They're figuring out roles. There's a whole bunch of new players. I like what I'm seeing. I think they have a good young coach in Joe Mazzulla who's going to master this helm well. So I like what I'm seeing. I like the way it's coming together. I like it's going to be trial and error for a little while because again they don't know what they have. So I think we're going to see different rotations as we should. We should see different combinations. We need to see different people in at different times. I kind of like Pritchard better coming off the bench, but so I think there's a lot of things that we're going to see, and I'm here for it. I want to see the process. I'm excited to get it together. I think as long as you have two guys like we do at the top of our game in Jaylen Brown and Derek White, I think we're going to be okay. Those are two all-star caliber players. I think some of our new players are looking better. The Minot kid had a big game against Cleveland. Well-rounded. I think he's playing solid defense. So this is an opportunity to see what we got. Because the reality is, I mean, we're trying to build the roster for years down the road. The result of us being over the salary cap and overextending ourselves the last 2 years is that we need to spend 2 years under the salary cap in order to not face those consequences. So we're going to have to do so by getting cheap talent and getting them locked in for a couple of years and supplementing smart, because we can't just go out and spend like we were able to last year and the year before. So I like what it's doing. I like the developing talent. I like the path we're going. I'm excited to see where the season goes.
Chet, what's your reaction to the
as more of a basketball outsider, I'm looking at it and I'm watching the results of the games. I'm seeing Jaylen Brown kill it, but they're still losing. And then of course we just got one. So what I'm most interested in is, will Jason Tatum come back? And to Wally's point, if we find a chemistry, how does that fit in to that chemistry? Because I still think they're a playoff basketball team. Too much talent, too much going on for them not to make it. They'll be in the lower level most likely. But what happens when Tatum comes back? How do they work the chemistry around him at that point is more my thought. And I'm looking forward to that. That's like months from now, but I'm very interested in that.
Yeah.
Or should he?
Or should he? Right. Well, it'll depend on where they're at, right?
Yeah. I thought you brought up a good point, Wally, about Pritchard coming off the bench. Like, I don't know if I'd have to be in practice, right, to see how everyone's practicing. If there's somebody else that's outperforming him at practice, then I wouldn't mind seeing that switch happen. But he is a stone cold shooter. I think he's just on a cold streak right now. First 5 games of the season, he's probably, if I had to guess, based off of some of the games that I looked at his stats, I'd guess that he's probably shooting from the floor like well under 50%, probably in the 30s, honestly. It's not impressive, but it is the beginning of the season, and I'd like them to see again, if in practice, if there's no one outperforming them, then there's no reason to make that switch. But if there is somebody that, is better defensively, that's going to be, I think he's a good defender, but if there is somebody better than him, I would like to see that change for that reason. I don't think there's anybody on the bench that can shoot better than him. So if it's not for that reason, that they're a better defender, and he's like a spark coming off the bench more so than anything, then I wouldn't make the switch, because I think he's going to get hot or come back to center, right? Come back to the mean. He has regressed since the beginning of the season, but I think he's going to come back to what his average is very soon. Actually, I hope it's, this next game, honestly, Friday. So, we're not as deep as I thought we were. But we'll see. Getting Jason Tatum back, I don't want him to come out sooner than he needs to, but getting him back will cure a lot, to be honest with you. Have you noticed how Cornette's doing in San Antonio?
Yes, I have. The French vanilla.
Yes, he is, man. He's doing all right, man. And the team's
He's
pretty
perfect
good.
for that
San
team.
Antonio's pretty good, yeah.
He's a good dude to have on a young team. He's a solid character guy. That's a good signing, and he's huge.
Yeah, I think San Antonio's stacked, man. They've got a whole bunch of young talent. Of course, they have Wembanyama. Then they've got Stephon Castle, and then they have Dylan Harper. I mean, that team's, and De'Aaron Fox, who they have as well, hasn't played yet. I think he'll come in. He's coming in either tonight or tomorrow. But I think they're going to make a deep run in the West. I hope. I'd like to see them do well. I've always liked the Spurs.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Anything on the side of sports that you guys want to talk about or mention? That's all I had for sports. No? Silence
No,
is
I
Think I'm
confirmation.
good. Think I'm good.
think
Yeah.
I'm good on sports.
So there are two things that I wanted to talk about, but I don't know if you guys, I didn't give you guys an opportunity to check it
All
out,
right,
but
we're in.
uh, okay. So there's a couple companies out there that are doing defense contracts, and they're doing some pretty amazing things. I'll start with one, and maybe I won't get to the other, but uh, Anduril Industries is owned by Palmer Luckey. He's like a 30-year-old dude now, but he invented the Oculus, the VR goggles with the games.
Mhm.
He invented that, worked with Facebook for a while until Facebook fired him because he made a political contribution to somebody that they disagreed with, literally. So they fired him for it. Uh, yeah. So anyway, he went out and made his own company. He got a defense contract, and he's making what's called the Eagle Eye, and it's a helmet that's got sensors on it, and it sees everything, and for the wearer, it can also have a heads up display. And what it does is it uses AI, and it uses predictive analysis AI, and the engine basically, again, it can see things in different spectrums, not just infrared or like visible light, but like, let's say the objective is in front of me. I'm facing north. There's another team on the other side, the opposite side of the objective. They're facing south. What they're seeing, let's say there's guys that are outside the building that walk into the building. What they see happening, I can see through the building. So like those individuals that are
Wow.
walking outside the building, they're highlighted. And then when they go inside the building, again, the spectrum that they can see through changes and it follows them. So they're highlighted through, and you depth perspective, you won't be able to tell like, well, what room are they walking? They're walking through a wall, it might look like, right? But like it'll tell you how far away they are. It could do biometrics, like all kinds of different things. Anyway, not only can it see what other people are wearing, see if there's drones in the air, it can relay that data down to whoever's wearing it to process whatever the information is. Like again, there might be a one of the drones might sense a chopper coming in. And it's not just, and you might be able to hear it on the ground, but you don't know what it is. But that drone has already identified it as not a friendly chopper. It already knows the armament that it has. It knows the direction that it's going. It knows how long it's going to take it to get here. Like it'll be on me in 3 minutes. I need to seek cover or find, it'll tell me if I have countermeasures to shoot it down or if I have assets available to shoot it down. Like it's to be a soldier now, when that technology comes out, like, I mean, I just think it's amazing. The things that AI can do. Of course, I know both of you are probably going to be like, well, it's a computer and it can go bad and this and that. And it's
Yep.
technology, it can
Yeah,
be hacked. And of course it is, but I mean, the thing about the predictive analysis is again, it's taking a lot of the risk out. Risk is in like, I need to make a decision. Sometimes with the risk and the decision that you have to make, it gives you more time to make the decision that you have to make in order to execute whatever it is. In the past, it would be, I'm probably not hearing that helicopter. Nobody's hearing it yet until it's on us, right? Like because they can fly what's called map of the earth, fly low enough to where the acoustics of their engine and their rotors are not being heard until they're right on us, right? And especially if it's a fixed wing aircraft like a jet, like you won't hear it until it's definitely on you. But it's just amazing that all those systems that are integrated together just crazy, man, to think about that. What do you guys think about stuff like that?
so I'll start. I think that it's wonderful if we were the only ones with access to it, but how quickly it can be replicated. I'm not saying hacked even, but how quickly it's replicated just makes it even more complicated out there because war is terrifying for anyone who's in it, for anyone who's dealt with it, fucking terrifying. And so there's always been advances. War actually is the number one thing in the world that advances technology. It's never been about the betterment of humanity or whatever. It's always been war. And so I think like that's tough. And I just want to make a quick comment about Facebook for letting that guy go because what a bunch of cowards. Mark Zuckerberg, as soon as Trump was elected, he was like, oh no, we're gonna be done with fact checking now. That's stupid. We should never have done that. And before when it was Obama, he was like, we're all about fact checking. We really want to make sure we're fact checking. Like Facebook is the worst when it comes to the way that they handle things. It's like whoever's winning, we're on your side. Yay. It makes sense because they started off as a college social media thing. So that's yeah, frustrating for me to hear that he was let go because he contributed to whatever side it was that they didn't agree with. They'll throw someone else on the other side out now because they don't agree with the same thing. So that's horrible. But yeah, I like the technology, Nate, because it's a sense that there's more safety, that you have more accuracy as to where something is. You can prepare better, you can protect yourself better. Who wouldn't love that? I love that. It's just more that it can be replicated so quickly, and then it makes war, which is already awful, potentially even more deadly if it can be replicated. Like, or you said, you called me on it. If it can be hacked, something like that. So I'll end with that.
Yeah. Wally, what are your thoughts?
I think as with we owe it to our soldiers, we owe it to our people to continue to pursue every means necessary to advance our mission, right? So if that's technologically based, we'd be foolish not to pursue every opportunity we have to better the tools by which that we have to keep Americans safe. So yeah, I think we have to stay on the cutting edge. We don't want to be left behind, so we have to stay on the cutting edge. I have no problem with it. Should we be worried about it being hacked? Yes, we absolutely should. Should we be worried about over reliance on electronic devices? Yes, we absolutely should, because there are ways to disable things in a widespread manner that could be concerning. I would say this. You got to do it though, right? This is a fight we have to have. This is a mission you have to have. You have to look forward. I would wonder what the civilian applications of technology like that would be, and I really don't have time to think about it. But I bet you there could be widespread uses for furthering that sort of technology that extend beyond the military. But as long as there are bad guys trying to kill Americans, you have to invest money in staying on the cutting edge of being able to protect our soldiers and our people.
Yeah. So the civilian applications would be like police officers, law enforcement, first responders have a very similar. It wouldn't be a helmet. It would be like meta glasses. Like it would be Oakley glasses, and it's doing the same thing. What you're seeing, and then let's throw drones in there. Let's say instead of a police officer responding to a call by themselves, they respond with a drone.
Yeah.
It's them and the drone. The drone's their partner, and the drone is linked up with a whole bunch of other drones that are partnered up with everybody else, right? And that drone is constantly feeding it information as well as the glasses. Predictive analysis, once again, it will use biometrics, so you'll like literally the same technology that individual would have at their computer in the jail, in the system where they take the individual after they're detained to find out with fingerprints who they are. They would know that instantaneously. So if they think they're making a warrant stop or a stop on somebody that has a warrant because of the tags on the vehicle, they would be able to confirm that instantaneously with biometrics identifying the individual, not walking up to the vehicle and asking for license and registration and then discovering who they are, after they run their fake or non-fake ID, right? Through the system. They would know instantaneously. So would that mean that they go in guns drawn? I don't know, but it would give that police officer a heightened sense of awareness and know exactly who that individual. And then let's be honest, half of the stuff we see on social media is people not wanting to present identification. Well, I have biometric technology and I can
Yeah.
identify you. So when they ask, who are you? And you give a false name, like, no, that's not who you are, buddy. Like
You could also
you
see how that
still
can be pretty easily abused, right? Like how then like if you use it for that manner, couldn't you also use it for scanning people in the crowd? And don't you have an expectation of privacy, or don't you like I shouldn't be able to, if I'm doing nothing wrong, they shouldn't be able to look up all my information at a glance to see who I am and what I've done and where I'm going and what I've spent and all that. They don't have the right to that data. That's my personal information that they
well, they
shouldn't just
don't
be able
do
to
that. They don't
glean
do that.
based. But if they
They
have
don't
that
do that
level of
as you're
technology,
walking by
they
in a
can.
crowd. They don't
But
do that
if they have the
as
type
you're
of tech,
walking by.
no, but my concern is that with that technology, they can mass scan huge groups of people and determine who every one of those people are and use
Wally,
that
that
data.
that technology already exists, and if people want to do that, they can.
Yeah, I'll take
It
your.
already
Shouldn't we
does.
be worried about that?
Well, I think the people that are using that technology and doing that to people that are, again, to people that are walking by, like they're not you, they are not police officers or a law-abiding citizen that is doing it for the good of the society. That I would identify that as those people are doing criminal activity. Like I'm not really sure why they're doing that, but again, if people are doing that, that's why they're doing it now.
So
Like
I
I
would say
trust law. Go ahead.
no. I trust law enforcement to a degree, but within civilian nature, law enforcement nature, there's still people. I don't want to lose sight that these are still people doing these jobs. And so what I worry about is that you have that information, someone makes a stupid mistake, right? And then suddenly now their biometrics are on there. So the police, to your point, Nate, like you said, right? Like they're not probably gonna have guns drawn, but if some guy has like petty theft, you're like, oh, this motherfucker, we gotta worry about him. Now the guy's like, I'm Nate, it happens on record. That stuff happens. Overzealous police, that's a real thing. And so someone has
Sure,
all
it
this
is.
information.
I
They don't
I
know
don't
this
disagree.
person. They don't know this person, and now suddenly all this information is out there immediately to them. Now, Nate, if I had to choose between the police officer doing the best they can in a really impossible job and the petty theft guy, probably the police officer. But at the same time, like you can see how quickly that becomes a slippery slope when you know everything about everyone, and a simple mistake suddenly becomes, like I said, not a learning moment, but a defining moment. Because what happens is now you are defined by a mistake you made when you were 22, and it leads you down this path. Because, like, when you have the police come up to you and they take your freedom away from you, there is a pretty strong reaction you have to that it's not good. So then you like have to figure out where you're going to go from there. And if you're like, okay, so now I have no access to a job, I don't have access to these things, I have a criminal record now. So now I have to figure out this. The next thing you do is you don't understand where you're going to go next. So you make a simple mistake by walking down a road, right? You're walking down a road and some neighbor says, hey, Nate, you could smirk. I'm telling you, this is real shit. Hey, there's this suspicious person walking down this road. I'm afraid they're going to rob me. Cops have all this information. They assume you're
Of course.
dangerous. Suddenly, you're a good person. You made a mistake. You know you made a mistake. And then next thing you know, you are then targeted. And it's not like the police themselves or the person that's a police officer is targeting you, but they have this information and it gives them a way to say, you're dangerous, I'm coming after you, and that person's life is over before they know it. These things can happen.
They can, but again, this system would also be incorporated with at the body camera that every police officer now has. That body camera has done nothing but essentially get police officers in trouble. Like that body camera is to keep them in check and make sure that they're not doing the wrong thing. And when they are, then they'll be prosecuted to the limit of the law with that video
Sure.
footage. So if they use that, which a video, whether it's on a body cam or from glasses, it's still going to hold the same weight. Like it's still recording everything that's going on, but it's just giving me feedback. It's giving me instantaneous feedback on, again, I walk up to this individual, it's already identifying. I can identify them by their name instead of saying, "Hey, how are you doing today?" I can make it more personable. And I don't need to, with the body camera again, I don't need to that interaction can be personal. And then if it escalates from there, it escalates. But uh,
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. Here's my thought is that I think this technology is wonderful when you go to some other country and you don't know anybody at all. You don't know what's a threat and what's not. You don't know if you go over to that spot over there, there's an explosive device waiting for you. You don't know who this person is walking up to you as they say. I get all that, but the militarization of America, you'll I'll never be okay with that. Like just ever. Like this, I think the technology
it's
to Wally's point is amazing. When our troops go over there and they are doing everything they can, I want them to have absolutely every resource available to them. When they're in Tilton, New Hampshire, and a kid had petty theft last week, and you know that right away by a biometric scan. I don't love that because I think that kid might have a chance to do something better and through myself even 3 weeks from now makes a good choice, has a conscience, has some good people like you or Wally or your parents around me that says, "Hey, good stuff." It is quicker than you might think that you can go down a downward spiral when everyone treats you like you're a criminal when you really are a good person. So I see the technology's advances overseas when you know nobody and you're trying to protect your life. I don't see how great it is in Tilton, New Hampshire yet.
I don't know. You keep coming back to being treated like a criminal with
Yeah.
the identification process. That's the only way you know. Right now, that's the only way that you know someone's a criminal. If I take that out of the loop and it's now given to me freely, meaning they were incarcerated or they were put in jail and convicted or are being accused of these crimes and they
Yeah.
have not, they bailed on the bondsman that bailed them out of jail. There's a warrant for their arrest. Like that is technically a criminal. So I'm okay with that. Like
Right. So what if they
but
start using it as a screening tool? Like they can now tell if somebody smoked a joint, right? It's legal in New Hampshire. Am I a criminal for walking down the street after having smoked a joint?
I
And
honestly think
should they be able to weed me out by their glasses? It just feels like it's a fine line
weed
between
you
us
out. What do you
seeing
mean? What do you
see
mean weed you
meaning that
out?
they okay, you can tell that person's breaking a law by smoking weed, or hey, that guy's had a couple
Well,
beers,
you
he's
said
out in
it's
public.
legal, but it'd be nice for me. That's getting into, again. I'm doing my job. I'm coming into this interaction with you. It'd be nice if I could tell if you're high on any substance.
Sure,
That would be
that would be
like,
that'd be a valuable tool to have if you were using it strictly in the case of diagnosing people you're pulling over. I understand that, but the application could also be used for Joe Schmo sitting on a bench in the park just minding his own business. And I'm saying it's a fine line, like when you have that technology, that it doesn't get abused, because I feel like it's not one our government toes particularly well. Like, right,
oh,
they they invade our rights and our privacy on a daily basis and do so willingly and freely. And I think that my concern with technology like this is it gives them another tool by which to invade our privacy. And we should be concerned about that, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
so what would you say if, okay, let's say it could tell me by the dilation of your pupils because it's biometric that you are high on some sort of illegal substance. Although, again, nothing on camera shows you doing this illegal substance, but it now gives me, the officer who's going to do an interaction with you, that some insight on how you could potentially be acting, so that I may perceive it in the way that it is somebody under the influence and not somebody as a threat, right? But let's say I use that. But again, let's say now because of that we change some of the laws. Like I can't arrest somebody because they're high. and sitting on a bench. If they're sitting behind a wheel or fall asleep behind a wheel, could I potentially arrest them for operating a motor vehicle? Or under I forget the legal term of it, but you're not driving, but let's say it's parked, you're sitting in it, and you're under the influence. There's something you are doing something against the law because especially if that's your vehicle as well. Like you can be prosecuted for an attempt to drive while intoxicated. You know what I mean? Or under the influence.
Yeah.
So like I some of the laws might need to be changed. I would agree with that, but I think just like anything else, the cops aren't going out looking for somebody that's jaywalking. Like somebody that does it egregiously or like I don't know how to explain it, but they're not going to ticket somebody for jaywalking as they're on their way to their sector or whatever, like I don't know. I guess I see the good in people.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But there's also this, it's like Wally said, it's such a fine line. You can arrest someone for jaywalking right now if you happen to know that person goes against your political beliefs and you happen to be in power right now. That's what makes people scared. I'm scared of that. Like I don't want if someone I agree with is in power and they're going after, let's say you and I disagree, they go after you. I'm not okay with that. And when I see that technology and policy combine to make people afraid to walk out their front door because of who knows what might happen because of my opinion, I have a problem with that. You do too. I'm sure you do. And I keep going back to this. Whatever is happening right now, whatever power the current administration or the last one had, they tend not to give it back. So if Obama did something, Obamacare, for instance, a lot of people can't stand that. No one's giving that power back. If Trump does something now with the press, no one's giving that power back. And AI now, the world we live in now, AI is a huge part of that, a part of the technology that leans into policy. So
Yeah.
it's just something to really think about and you know, I don't know, have a conscience when you look at like what it can do, because there's a military aspect to it, and then there's also a civilian aspect to it, and we just have to be careful with how we apply it.
And we live in a time where the line between military and civilian isn't quite as clear as it used to be, right? We have
Yeah,
National Guard in our cities. We have ICE operating like a militant force throughout America. So it's hard for me not to think that, like, how could they use that to further that cause? And I think that that's probably a topic for another day because but but I think that it's a particularly appropriate topic given the time we're living in right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Nate, I saw your face when Wally said that. Like, I really want to hear what you think about that side of it.
Again, can databases be corrupted? As in, like, if it's a camera that's doing facial recognition, can that be corrupt? We've seen it in movies, of course. It
Yeah,
takes an extreme amount of effort to do that, to plant, a different file that shows this facial recognition that is wanted for whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, yes, can that happen? Yes, but again, for the most part, if you're if you're worried about your biometrics being scanned, that time is come and gone. I can tell you that because they're being scanned at a regular pace, right? And I would rather that tool be used out in the open by a police officer or all LEO elements. And I'd like for them to have something like backup, like I'd love for them to have a drone with them, and that drone has different capabilities. It has life-saving capabilities, not just for the police officer that gets shot. It's life-saving capabilities for the perpetrator that was shot and now handcuffed. Like that's a real world implication, and I think that should happen. And I guess I scoff at the fact that we all think that things need to change, but we're not willing to give up any semblance. As soon as Walter, you use the term of infringing essentially on our freedoms. Like we're out in public, not doing anything, yet we're being scanned. Like again, it's happening whether we like it or not. I'd like to see that tool implemented in a better way with someone with authority that can do something. When again, you guys have all had Amber Alerts at some point, like a police officer that's off duty. He walks into the diner to grab dinner to take it home, and sitting over there on the counter is a guy that just kidnapped or molested, you know, throw any number of children in there. Like that's the good that I wanted to do, and that's the good that I think it will do. Does it infringe on our freedoms? And potentially, but again, whether it's a camera or lenses that somebody is actually looking through, or a camera that is in the street and on the highway, they're going to find that individual sooner or later. I'd rather see it be done a lot sooner, and I think that those capabilities can help.
Yeah, no argument. If you can find someone before harm is done to an innocent person, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
But you said a lot of things there, right? So let's go back to like AI finding somebody, biometric scan. What about the fact that people have different values, right? So like some people don't think that we should be sending everybody out of the country that came here because maybe it was not legal at the time. I'm not saying that's okay, Nate, but I'm saying some people feel that way. Other people feel like if you came in here illegally, you're illegal. Get you out. Like, get out of here. And so what AI does with that technology is it removes people's opinions and it becomes the policy rather than the human beings controlling it and having actual debate. The government has been shut down for what, 30 something days now?
Yeah.
Right. So we have lost.
I got my paycheck. I was happy about that. I was worried about my retirement paycheck.
You got one?
My
Good.
paycheck. Yeah,
Good.
I got it.
Good.
Didn't stop it. Happy about
Good.
that. Sorry. Go ahead.
When you have that stuff happen and you're looking at when the arguments about like AI is going to do these things, biometric scans, all that stuff, it removes the ability, I think, in many cases for human beings to sit down together like we're doing right now, which I appreciate and love, and actually really work through it. Because once you put a policy in place and it's controlled by AI, it becomes a way of life. And I think we really have to be careful about how we go through with that because it takes away what we're built on. We're built on people in different times, in different challenges, working together as a country. I don't know that I've seen a time where we are working less shitty together than we are right now. Like I really can't think of a time other than like Civil War time. So when I see AI also being a new addition to it, I see value to your points, Nate, a lot of it, but I also see a lot of drawbacks because once you put that stuff in place, man, hard to come back from that and to have a human discussion.
Yeah. Well, let me be clear. I don't want anybody deported that hasn't committed a crime, and I don't think coming into the country illegally is a crime. And that biometric scan, again, if they're coming up on a biometric scan, it's not because they were scanned when they were coming through the gate, which they didn't do. It's because they're on a hit list for the country that they're leaving. So I think people come into this country illegally for a wide range of reasons, but you can break it down to want to make a better life or escaping potentially prosecution or want to do crime, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
throw those two in the same, but I'd say it's about 50-50 as far as that goes. I don't want anybody deported that isn't wanted by the country that they left or hasn't committed a crime. Like I don't want anybody deported. I will stand on business on that. Like illegal immigrants, as I use the term loosely, illegal as in they came into the country without due process, but they're part of the system now. Once they're here, I want them to stay. I want them to be citizens. I want them to gain citizenship because by going through that process, we will find out who was potentially a criminal or not, right? Like
Agreed. Yeah.
the people that won't come forward are the ones that I will say they're assuming guilt by not coming forward, right? If we were to ever say, oh, if you're here illegally, let's just go through due process. You can, and I was just having a conversation about this a while ago, I think this week actually. The government needs to find new forms of income to start paying off the debt that we have, correct?
Mhm.
Like it's hard to create new forms of income without calling it a tax and then taxing everybody else, But there's two things that the government can do that are very easy to start putting money towards the debt. One, legalize marijuana.
Oh,
Make it a federal income, tax that. People will still buy it, people will still do it, and it'll be taxed, and you can put that money. That's one stream of revenue. The next stream of revenue is allow everyone that's been in the country, they can prove that they've been in the country, they're allow them to become a citizen. And then through becoming a citizen, guess what? From this point on, not just because you've been here, but from this point on, anybody that wants to come into the country, put a dollar amount on it. This is what citizenship costs. Now, you don't have to pay that up front because the government's so nice, they'll give you a line of credit and you need to be making payments on this. And when you come in legally, right, to do the due process, when you come in, the government is going to you establish this line of credit. I hope that there's some negotiation as far as what the minimum payment is, but you need to make that minimum payment while we're going through the paperwork process to make you an American citizen. When you are finished, either finished paying or the process of the paperwork is done, you're an American citizen, but you still need to pay off whatever X dollar is. Let's say it's $5,000 if you want to come into the country per person.
yeah. So Nate, what you just very articulate, honestly, but what you just described was indentured servants, which a lot of us were like, no, Nate, I'm not saying like a racist thing, but a lot of people back in the day were indentured servants, and then they could never find their way on their like they had a dream to come here and do this thing, and they never found it because they were just like stuck with this debt or this they have to do this. So I think what you're saying, though, I like what you're saying, but I think the part you said that I like the best is negotiation. What kind of skills are you bringing in? Right? So like, are you bringing in something that can help us as Americans get better because we're a melting pot? Or are you
But I
bringing
think by
in,
doing that, then you create a prejudice.
I mean, yeah,
Because now, of course, we want the smart people, but it shouldn't be just be the smart people that are allowed to come in. It should, like, again, it shouldn't be the only people that can come in are the people that can pay that money up front. Like, it shouldn't be like that.
Well,
You know what I
your
mean?
skill doesn't have to be intellectual. Your skill can be physical, right? So your
yeah.
skill can be a trade. Your skill can be your muscle. Your skill can be your speed. Your skill can be that you turn a pipe wrench better than anybody else. So it's not
Yeah,
just about
I don't
intellect.
disagree, but I don't think that we should be screening and making education,
Yeah, well,
I don't know,
the
making a
big
skill a requirement to become a citizen. Like,
you're 100% correct because the hard part about that is that it's subjective, right? What I
yeah,
value may not be the same as what you value.
Yeah.
In our interpretation of somebody's quote unquote skill could be vastly different. So that's the bigger issue is that this fallacy in the individual, the person who's judging, the person who has the power, judging the people who are looking for a new life.
yeah.
It's a scary imbalance that's often abused. And my biggest concern with that technology, I don't mean to harken back, but I couldn't get it in that time. Isn't necessarily in the covert application of it, meaning that like I'm not so worried about people like trying to do things on the down low. They're going to do it out in the open. They're going to use that tool in a manner of which to like I think your immigration debate is a great one. They're going to do it right out in the open and use it intentionally and directly, and that's my bigger concern. It'll be right in our faces.
Where's in power?
And you don't
Whoever's in
like
power.
that?
It'll be misused. Is that I agree with all the great things you're saying about its applications are 100% true. The problem is that there's value in other uses as well, and I firmly believe that it will be abused prolifically at our expense or at somebody else's expense in a way that isn't, in my eyes, fair. That's my biggest concern.
I guess I don't other than infringing again on your privacy, I don't see if you have
I
nothing to
think it,
hide, then it's not going to matter. You know what I mean?
the immigration conversation is a great one because if you don't think that the current administration wouldn't utilize ICE and with the technology like that to weed out people who are here illegally, whether they've broken the law or not, then you haven't been paying attention because they will do so willingly. If they had the technology, they do it right now.
Well, it would just help them find the individuals that they're looking for. They don't, again, they don't go and raid the word of ICE raided this, ICE raided that. Man, they went there looking for probably two individuals that are on a hit list. And then it ended up again. Once they're there and they're identifying themselves, people scatter. They scatter to the wind and they run. And of course, I don't know why you're running, but you shouldn't be running from me. So now I'm going to run after you, and I'm going to
But but
question
they,
you.
but they but they know that as well, right? They know that they're likely to run into other people if they're going after these two specific people. They know full well they're going to grab 10 others while they're there, right? So you can say we went in after this one violent criminal, but when you routinely come back with 15 innocent bystanders, then I start to question your intentions a little bit.
Well, I I would question you being naive and thinking again, like if they went for those two individuals, if those two individuals are there, let's say they are working at a slaughterhouse, packing meat. Uh, if those two individuals are there, I can't put a percentage. It's not 100%, but I would say those people, in addition to the ones that they went to get, they were all accomplices, right? You
You call
think they're
me
just
naive. You're calling me naive, but the reality is that they're sitting at so there's people trying to go about this legally, trying to go to the court systems and get their citizenship legally. ICE is waiting at the courthouses and arresting them and deporting them in there. So like it's not these aren't like they're not just going after the violent criminals. They're absolutely not. They're going after the hard workers, the people working on farms. They're going after the people working in factories, and whose
and
only crime is being here illegally. Those are the people being deported as much as anybody else.
are you 100%? Do you know that they didn't commit a crime in the country that they left, and they're wanted there?
No, but are you 100% sure they did?
I don't think that we would detain them otherwise or deport them. Again, unless I went to deport one person that I'm seeking that is doing crime or is wanted for a crime, and we want to extradite them, and that individual runs. Like if you run, and that now I'm going to run after you, take you down, put you in handcuffs, identify you, figure out who you are.
Yeah, and
Because
in your
because
job, you should do that. But I'm saying that,
so
man,
through let's look at it this way. Let's say again, I'm an ICE agent. I have again, my team are going in this location to take down these two people. This is in the briefing. These two people. Oh, by the way, these are also their other known accomplices in the
yep,
crimes that they've committed here and in the United and in their ex country where they came from.
great. You
So we're
know
going
I'm
in to
gonna
get
go
these.
after them.
We're
Yeah,
we're going after them. We know where they're at. We're going to get them. And then again, we go in to get them, and then we see people run. My guys are trained to go after people that run because one, I don't know who they are, don't know why they're running, but I'm going to catch them and I'm going to ask them why. And I may or may not get the answers that I want, but through that due process, if I find out that they're illegal, now I have to detain them. And now I have to but
you
let's
should.
let's say that we change this, right? Like let's say the detaining happens, but then once we get them back to the station and do a biometric scan, run their name through whatever country they say they came from, and then we find out, oh well, they were wanted for child molestation, they were wanted for rape, they were wanted for murder. Like, isn't that due process? Like, it's not my. It looks bad that I went in to scoop up two people and I took 15, but the other individuals that ran for a reason, not because they were illegal in this country. because they knew they misinterpreted who
No.
that person was coming for.
I think almost everyone's running now, whether they're criminal or not, because they're afraid of being deported. People are being deported for immigration violations, solely immigration violations. I mean, it's very well documented. They're going after people solely with immigration violations. So it's not like they're raiding people whose only crime is an immigration violation. This is like documented fact. They're not just
Yeah.
going after violent criminals, and they're not just deporting people with criminal histories. They're deporting people who shouldn't be here. Now we can argue the merits of that because that is a crime, right? And if you're deporting all criminals, someone who's here illegally has committed a crime in the eyes of the law, right? So that's the argument, and that's the argument they're making, and that's why they're doing it.
You know why? Can I tell you why I love Donald Trump? He
Please,
just says it. He just fucking
he
says it
just
out
says it.
loud.
He just says it.
So Bad Bunny is our Super Bowl guy, right? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna send ICE over there. ICE is coming, right? He says, I'm not canceling Republican policies during the shutdown. Nate, these are facts. This is the fucking things this guy says. I'm not canceling Republican policies. I'm canceling Democrat policies. If you think, Nate, for instance, if you think that's okay, then what happens is the next president will never give that power back. Our whole country is built on this idea that you have to check and balance what you're doing, the decisions that you make to make sure it's not affecting the country in a negative way. This dude is like, nah, no, thank you. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna challenge everything, and I'm gonna wait until the people tell me that's not okay before I stop. And that's where we're at right now. I think we are in what you call a constitutional crisis. I do think we are
I don't
because
call it that. You call it that.
no,
The Democrats call it. No, I'm just kidding.
but he's basically admitting what he's doing. And Democrats have taught each other, and this is where Democrats have gone wrong. Democrats have taught each other to be too careful what you say. Hey, be careful what you say. Don't say
No,
the
we
wrong
haven't.
thing. Democrats fight each other over who's more liberal and who's better and who's smarter. That's Democrats' problem, and we have to figure that out. Republicans just say out loud what they're going to do, then they go do it, and they do it with a lot of like I guess gusto is the word. But man, you think it's like Nate, would you stand by and be okay if Gavin Newsom walks in and says, "You know what? I'm canceling Republican policies, not Democrat policies. The Republicans are evil and the Democrats are okay. So I'm going to cancel all that while we shut down the government." There's no way you'd stand by and just be like, "That's cool."
I mean, I think they're both. If it happened, and of course, what Trump said, it did happen, right? He did say that, but I think it's still blowing smoke, and I think both of them are just. If both of them were to do it, it's just blowing smoke. Like it's not actually going to happen. It's just somebody trying to stand on business and say things. Very much like I think most of what's reported about ICE, about anything in the news, is there's we've talked about it before, but like
Yeah.
a lot of reporting now is not fact checking and it's not factual. It is a I won't say it's a misrepresentation of the truth, but it's somewhere between the truth and not true. And sometimes it's whatever the thought or ideology you think will get you clicks or likes or generate popularity in that, like buzzwords, so to speak. I don't disagree that people are being deported because they came into the country illegally and that they violated an immigration law. I think that there's something. I would say 90% of the time that we hear that, there is something in addition to that makes that a true statement that we're not being told. Like they were an informant for a drug cartel, or they were an informant. They were supposed to give us information and they did not. Now you're not helping me. I'm not going to help you. So, and that's the only reason why we know where you're at and we know where to get you. You know what I mean?
No,
Have some innocent people.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the
I
case at
think
all.
that's the case.
And I think you're being naive when you say that.
I'm
I
not
think
being
I think
naive.
it's
I said that there are still people that are being taken illegally or taken into custody because they committed the crime, which is immigration law, right? But I think there's an underlying fact that we're not being told as the American public that contributed to that, right? It's not, have there been some? Absolutely. Because again, you run, I'm going to detain you. I'm going to question you. I want to know if you're involved with the person that we came here to get, and that's why you're running. You know what I mean?
I'm going to check with Grok. Grok knows all. Grok will tell me.
Gronk will tell us. Ah,
Actually, Gronk is coming back to play with Drake May.
no, he is not. I like that.
He's
You
really
saw
not.
that clip, right? That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty
So I
good.
have another topic, but it's probably time to shut it down.
Is it a
We
quick
can do it
one?
another
I
time.
can do it. We can do
No,
it.
it's the same thing as an AI. It's just the other company.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
do it
let's bring
next
that
time.
up. But hold on. Last thing I had to say
No.
though, Mark Zuckerberg, what a what a douche. Like
Well,
he was
and
all about censoring Facebook when the Democrats are in power, and now he's all about like, oh no, what a bunch of bullshit. As soon as Trump pulls in, like I have never seen a bigger coward in my life.
It's all
yeah, he also
corporations, man. It's corporations.
All
He's
of
a
them, you
corporate.
know,
he
but
also
he,
sold the patent to the Oculus to China. So he doesn't own the patent, or he owns the patent, sold the information, maybe not the patent, but sold the schematics, everything for it to China.
he's gonna run
And
for
hope
office. He's gonna run for office and probably win in like 2 years.
you think so?
Yeah, that's what happens. Like people make a lot of money. Myself, I'm gonna say this out loud. If I was a billionaire and I have to worry about my furnace and my roof, of course I would look at stuff like that. Like, okay, well, is there a way that I can help make things better? Is there a way that I can do something good for people? I'm sure he thinks he's doing good things for people, right? I just look at it and I'm like, so misguided. That's all.
Yeah. All right. No, we'll hold the last topic until next week. Are
All
you
right.
guys ready to shut it down, or I feel
Yeah,
like you are.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
What is it, 11
What's our
o'clock
dad
now?
joke?
About to be 11? Yeah. Got one more. Oh, I did want to ask before we get to that. So I don't know if you guys saw, but Russia built a new war museum, and in the museum they're commemorating North Koreans soldiers that were killed in the Ukraine war. Which I'm not saying it's another Pearl Harbor incident where one country's telling us they're doing one thing and they're actually doing another, but that's the first time that Russia has actually admitted that there's North Korean involvement in the Ukraine war, so they're working
Yep.
together or fighting together. So that's monumental as far as world power is concerned. I wanted to get your thoughts on how essentially that. How do you feel about that confirmed alliance now? We do know that North Korea and Russia are working together and they're fighting Ukraine. They're both losing technically, which I'm happy about. But what are
I
your
think
thoughts, Walt?
it formalizes what we've known for a while, right? I think that we've been hearing reports about there being um, North Korean involvement for a little while now. So I'm not entirely surprised that that's been formally proven and that Russia's come out and admitted to it. And I also think that it is good for both parties. Like it's good for North Korea to have as many allies as possible. Russia is short on allies at the moment as well. So I think it works for both of them for a lot of reasons. I think Iran is probably right there with them, if we're being honest. I don't know if they're formally involving each other, but I suspect it's right around the corner. They are the pariahs currently on the national stage, right? Europe is
Yeah.
against them. United States, well, who knows where the United States stands on them, but Europe is against them. So I think it just formalizes what we've known on an informal stage all along.
Yeah, yeah. I stand by that. And I also question, and I'm not being like I'm not trying to be conspiratory, but like we hear about all these other countries that think we're the worst, and we're not, right? Then I think information is filtered to us in a way, maybe not as filtered, but it's filtered to us. Like we already knew, like Wally said, like North Korea was part of it. They do this museum, but we weren't told about this until now. I think that it's filtered to us in a certain way to make sure that we don't react too harshly, is my thought. Because North Korea sucks. And we all know that. It's like the worst. And
Yeah.
then Russia to North Korea, they're a threat to us. There's people that know more than we know that are making decisions about what we know. So I don't know. I guess that's that. Shit.
I agree. North Korea sucks. I agree.
North Korea sucks.
Um,
Thank you,
I
Wally.
mean,
That was solid. Thank you for that. That was solid.
it makes me nervous
I
because
appreciate
those two world powers, as far as military is concerned, are essentially at war right now, gaining data, I would say, an upper hand, because currently right now we're not at war, a large scale war, right? Like, so they're gaining information on how to do things, how not to do things, how to change things to make them better, logistically, strategically. So, I mean, that scares me, honestly,
Yeah, no, I get it.
that
And
our
that's
near peer adversaries are war fighting right now against one of our allies, who we would consider an ally, and we're not heavily involved in that. So I don't want us to be
I
either,
mean,
but
but that's why
No,
I
they're
want you
pretty
to
involved. We've sold them a lot of weapons. We've
Mhm.
sent a lot of supplies over to both active wars currently. So it's not like,
Sure.
well, we're not directly involved. We're pretty involved.
yeah.
We're like the guy sitting in the back of, come on, come on, take this gun
Let's
too, take this
go.
gun too.
Just fight him. Fight him. Yeah, no, and Nate, to your point, all that I want to use that, but not against us.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a story next week about
I love it. I love
another
that.
AI technology that's coming out that is amazing.
That's a cliffhanger. I like
Yeah,
it.
cliffhanger. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right.
What's our
One
dad
last
joke?
question.
Oh,
Dad
question.
joke of the week. What did one Dorito farmer say to the other Dorito farmer?
I don't know.
What cheese did you have for dinner?
Cool Ranch.
Cool.
Because they're farmers. Get it? Farmers.
And Cool Ranch is a flavor of Doritos. See, I see
Yeah,
what you
huh?
did there.
You made the connection. I
Nice.
like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
6'7".
Yep. Yep. Oh no, don't do that.
You 6'7".
Do you want to tell
Oh
us what
my
that
God.
means, really, Wally?
I have no idea.
It
I
was
got
about
no
a
idea.
basketball player's height, wasn't it?
It just
I'm not sure
it felt appropriate.
I'm not sure you said it right though. I think there's infliction.
6'7".
Yeah, there you go. Infliction.
And
Yeah,
I have
there you go.
no idea. My son says
All
it. My
right.
mom says it.
My son says it too.
We're now trending for 6'7". I'll make sure we put that hashtag in there or something.
Wait, Wally, make sure you send us Hagrid, the picture of Hagrid tomorrow night. At some point when you think of it, send it to us.
I'll send the whole family. I'll send the whole family shot.
And I can now say I'm Tom Cruise
Yes.
in Top Gun, the old one, obviously, because I'm old now. But I'm the old Tom Cruise in Top Gun too.
Is
No,
it,
I love it.
is
I
it
can't wait to
jeans
see it.
and a white t-shirt? Is that what you're wearing?
I got
With dog tags?
I got the jacket and the
You got a flight
sunglasses.
jacket?
Sabrina has the mini
Nice.
skirt, like the one piece mini skirt,
Yeah.
and her like I'm good with that, obviously.
Did you guys consider swapping? That you
mean,
wear the mini skirt, she wears the flight jacket.
I was gonna wear the miniskirt, Wally, but then people would think I had like a crutch between my legs as I'm walking, and we didn't want people to get confused.
The third leg, yeah.
Fair enough. That's fair. That's fair. I
They
appreciate your
think you
concern.
have some sort of deformity or something.
I
Start
kinda
feeling
do.
bad for you. All right, y'all. Thanks for jumping
Cameron
on.
trick or treating?
Oh yeah, we're going tomorrow night downtown. I'm gonna take Haley to her friends, which is really
Yeah.
sad because now she's old enough to go on her own. So I'm taking Haley to her friends. Sabrina's gonna have get Cameron ready, and then Cameron and I are gonna meet. Haley's gonna go with her friends, but we're gonna be close by.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool,
What
man.
about you?
Have fun, man.
Well,
Yeah,
you got
Hill's great.
kids going.
Hill's a great village. It's a great village to trick or treat in.
Nice.
So
Love it.
yeah,
Love it.
we'll be doing it.
Well, y'all have fun. Be safe. Thanks for getting on. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Later.